Welcome, dear viewers. We wish you an enjoyable watching.
Hello guys. In this video you look beautiful rare photos. Hello guys. In this video you look beautiful rare photos.
1937, Connecticut, USA. Ginger Lynn Allen is an American actress, singer, and photo model. 1984. (1912) Washington, D.C. Georgetown Carlisle game, Glenn Warner. But where are the skyboxes? (1936) Pontiacs and salesmen at the Mark Hopkins Hotel, San Francisco. Billie Holiday, with Teddy Wilson at the piano and Milt Hinton on bass, at the Newport Jazz Festival in July 1954, 5 years from the close of her career and the end of her life. January 24, 1936. Washington, D.C. No caption, dentist. Feel free to improvise your own dialogue. July 5, 1938. Oakland, California. Daniels Wells Pontiac, 3055 Broadway. For under $200, a number of bargains, and customers to be had. This motley crew includes two of my uncles on the far right. The photo was taken by my father about 1960 in Leatherwood, Tennessee, in Hickman County. Circa 1940. Washington snow scenes. U.S. Capitol, East Front, at night in winter. June 3, 1936. San Francisco. Woman in Pontiac made into bed. Some cars are just better at stopping than going. Bill, Emily, yes, December 25, 1951. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in this latest episode of Minnesota Kodachromes. August 9, 1935. San Francisco. GMC truck associated oil fuel tanker. Short but sweet. Washington, D.C., 1922. Tank truck with plow clearing snow. Who'll be first to ID the street? October 1943. Washington, D.C. football fans at Woodrow Wilson High School. Abe Julia, December 25, 1951. Radiating holiday cheer from the teal sofa. Hubert's parents make their Minnesota Kodachrome's debut. December 24, 1929. President lights nation's capital community Christmas tree. President Hoover pressed the button that set the community Christmas tree of the national capital ablaze with varied colored lights. San Francisco circa 1919. Coal touring car at Stowe Lake, Golden Gate Park. San Francisco circa 1919. Maxwell touring car. (1904) Robert Street and Pioneer Press, St. Paul, Minnesota. Washington, D.C., circa 1935. No caption, man at desk with proposal for Jefferson Memorial. December 1936. William Helmke, wife, baby, and brother live in one-room shack on 90-acre farm near Dickens, Iowa, owned by lawyer. A Kodachrome slide I acquired, showing a car dealer somewhere in Ontario, Canada, circa 1958. I've tried to find the exact location. June 1937. Ray Allen family near Black River Falls, Wisconsin. San Francisco, 1941. Pontiacs being unloaded from freight cars. San Francisco, 1922. Official Red Cross car. Being loaded with sacks of something outside the premises of Rex Products Company, Jobbers. January 11, 1941. Triborough Hospital for Tuberculosis, Parsons Boulevard, Jamaica, New York. Fluoroscopy room with technician. Washington, D.C. Airplane, 1936, March or April. From somewhere in England circa 1925 comes this 4x5 glass negative of two libated and liberated ladies lounging in their pajamas by the garden wall. Car and snow, March 23, 1952. Hubert and Grace's Green DeSoto stars in this latest episode of Minnesota Kodachromes. June 1942. John Sonneson, propeller grinder at a Hartford, Connecticut plant, inspects a blade for a vertical balance during the operation of grinding it to correct contours in a template. June 1943. Arlington, Virginia. Girls in two of the long line of showers at Idaho Hall, Arlington Farms, suburban Washington residence for women who work in the U.S. government for the duration of the war. San Francisco in 1930. Oldsmobile sedan on Alamani Boulevard, on the sunny side of the street. San Francisco circa 1930. Fragile dump truck at construction site. Our second truck with a Hemlock telephone exchange. Detroit circa 1900. Gross Isle, duck farm feeding the ducklings. July 1937. Parking lot in Washington, D.C. August 1942. Bike rack in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Brought to you by 7-Up. Golden Gate International Exposition, San Francisco, 1939. International Harvester watering truck. Washington, D.C., circa 1922. Miss Tomlin's School, interior. Our third visit to the premises of this educational establishment, run by Miss Queenie Ada Mae Tomlin. San Francisco circa 1923. Touring car, top view. Who'll be first to put a name to this swank charabanc? February 1936. Washington, D.C. Woman in snow. One Capitol commuter who seems unfazed by the white stuff. August 30th, 1944. Felix Fold Houses. Newark Housing Authority, 57 Sussex Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. New York circa 1900. Snow in Central Park. Mush Rover. Mush. September 1951. Walt Disney oiling parts of the locomotive of his scale model steam railroad, the Carrollwood Pacific Railway, in the backyard of his house in Los Angeles. March 9th, 1945. Marindel Dairy Truck, San Francisco. Oldsmobile Coupe, 1928. Along with some exotic specimens representing the flora and fauna of San Francisco. Shelter Island, New York, circa 1904. Bathing at Manhasset House. Our fourth visit with these people. March 1942. Washington, D.C. Bus going through the snow near Connecticut Avenue and Chevy Chase Circle. Washington, D.C., circa 1925. Transportation Building, corner 17th and HSDS. Christie Canyon, 1987. American actress, singer, and former model Apollonia Cotero, 1980. July 1941. Chicago, Illinois. Man watching subway construction. San Francisco, circa 1925. Valley touring car ascending steps, as well as promoting the Philadelphia sesquicentennial of 1926. Circa 1906. Traction Building, Walnut and 5th, Cincinnati, nowadays known as the Tri-State Building. (1924). The Forest Phonofilm Company, Inc. on White House grounds. The inventor and father of radio. Jewett Touring Car, San Francisco, 1923. The significance of the streetcar tracks is lost to the ages. August 1942. Aviation cadets in training at Corpus Christi, Texas, Naval Air Base. (1939). General Motors exhibit, Golden Gate International Exposition, San Francisco. Girls on Oldsmobile convertible coupe. New York, 1951. Hoffman Motors, Park Avenue. Driver standing next to Jaguar Mark 7 Saloon. April 2nd, 1923. Easter egg rolling at White House. New York circa 1947. Grocery display of premium crackers and peanut butter. September 7th, 1952. Picnic at Austin. Clifford's wife Ivan Catcher. Ink stamp. B. Blue Earth, Valley Camera Club 3rd place. October 1943. Washington, D.C. football fans at Woodrow Wilson High School. October 1943. Washington, D.C. Woodrow Wilson High School cheerleaders leading students in a yell at a football game against Georgetown Preparatory. June 15, 1937. Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Texaco Test Fleet Auto at Joe DiMaggio Grotto. Driver of Pontiac with restaurant manager Tom DiMaggio. (1906) Kingston Point Park, Kingston, New York. A grand day out on the Hudson River. Circa 1901. Hotel Islesworth, Atlantic City, New Jersey. San Francisco circa 1930. Hudson 8 sedan. Who'll be first to street view this house? San Francisco circa 1931. Auburn at Golden Gate Park. New York circa 1920. State Trooper on Indian motorcycle. The motto on his badge: Excelsior. (1906) Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Note the signs advertising. Class Day. October 13, 1915. Crawford Jack, Captain in costume. John Wallace, Captain Jack Crawford, celebrated Wild West storyteller and poet scout of the Civil War, 2 years before his death. March 1943. Bering, Missouri. A flagman returning to a train on the Atchison, Topeka Santa Fe Railroad about to start, after having taken on coal and water. San Francisco, 1940. Latest entry from the General Motors promotional file. Pontiacs at Golden Gate International Exposition. Billy Rose Aquacade. New York circa 1947. National Peanut Corporation store on Broadway. Mr. Peanut sign and Embassy Newsreel Theater. Easter and Holy Week in Washington, D.C., 1922. Group of pages. Plus an usher. The General Motors Pavilion at the New York World's Fair in 1940. One of a series of Kodachromes taken by my great-grandfather, who was a photo finisher in Washington, D.C. Charming British film, actress Jacqueline Bisset, 1966. Circa 1901. Bridge over the Susquehanna at Pittston, Pennsylvania. From somewhere in San Francisco comes this undated, unlabeled photo of a lady in a fancy-looking phaeton with a glass headrest. Who can tell us what she's driving, and when? February 11th, 1936. Washington, D.C. NO caption, young man in bed with leg in cast. New York circa 1948. Department stores. R.H. Macy Company, street entrance, and window displays. New York circa 1948. Rupert beer truck driver. Signifier of suds, augur of ale, harbinger of hops. Washington, D.C., circa 1900. House in which Lincoln died. The row house at 516 10th Street Northwest, where President Abraham Lincoln died on April 15, 1865, after being shot across the street at Ford's Theater 158 years ago today. Washington, D.C., or vicinity, 1927. Woman at campsite with fan display. Somewhere in San Francisco circa 1919. Woman alighting from Marmon limousine. At first this would seem to be all about the car, until we notice the pedestrian with the influenza face mask, and sign advertising what seems to be an appearance by the actress Aurora Mardiganian in connection with Armenian massacres. May 1942. Southington, Connecticut, class of young children. Reading David's friends at school. Washington, D.C., circa 1935. Miss Lucy Alexander, Food Tester, Department of Agriculture. San Francisco, 1929. Page Coupe and Biplane at Mills Field. Washington, D.C., 1927. NO caption Puppies. Where's Harry Freeze when you need him? Circa 1900. Star Villa, Cape May, New Jersey. Completed 1885. Fourth floor added 1893. New York City circa 1948. Bryant Park and New York Public Library from 6th Avenue. New York, 1948. Weitzner Papper Monument struck at Mount Hebron Cemetery, Flushing, Queens. Washington, D.C., 1929. Chesapeake Potomac Telephone Company lineman. Washington, D.C., 1923. Mrs. Denby and kids at zoo. Say, don't I know you from back home? April 24, 1946. Pontiac Zone Manager's Banquet at St. Francis Hotel. Toledo, Ohio, circa 1907. Walbridge Park Annex Casino, boardwalk and roller coaster on Maumee River. Washington, D.C., 1923. Police dog Gus Buchholz. About to take a bite out of something. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. This is my colorized version of Woman and Her Dog in the Harlem section, snapped in 1943 by Gordon Parks. (1939) General Motors exhibit, Golden Gate International Exposition, San Francisco. Girls in Oldsmobile convertible coupe. Anyone need a lift? (1902) Tithing Department, National Cash Register Company, Dayton, Ohio. New York circa 1948. Rupert beer display in grocery window. It's light. It's delicious. It's slow aged. Boston, 1903. London Honourables entering Trinity Church, Copley Square. November 1939. Negro woman carrying laundry home along highway between Durham and Mebane, North Carolina. June 11, 1940. General Motors exhibit at Golden Gate International Exposition, San Francisco. Transparent car with Pontiac chassis and body by Fisher. November 1st, 1952. This view of Chicago's downtown shows the low-lying smog which blanketed the area one recent morning. In the foreground is the well-known Wrigley Building. December 1909. Some of Newark's small newspaper's afternoon. Circa 1930. Vice President Curtis at Capitol with steam car, which, as evidenced by the news item below, encountered a bit of trouble during its stop in Washington. South Carolina circa 1906. Old Charleston. Church Street just below Trad Street showing Colonel Robert Bruton's house number 71 Church Street at left with Piazza. June 11, 1940. General Motors exhibit at Golden Gate International Exposition, San Francisco. Transparent car with Pontiac chassis and body by Fisher. October 3, 1938. Meeting of Pontiac salesmen at Fairmont Hotel, San Francisco, representing all the many tribes of the great Pontiac nation. (1907) Northampton, Massachusetts Draper Hotel, where the amenities include an American Express office and Boyden's dining parlor. San Francisco, 1923. Stood sedan in Golden Gate Park, ready to motor forth into the Jazz Age. New York circa 1947. Hudson Showroom, Broadway at West 62nd Street. San Francisco, 1935. Oldsmobile Coupe and Golden Gate Bridge under construction. Only 2 more years and this lady will be able to cross. This Kodachrome with the date stamped OCT 65A. Baby boomers will no doubt recognize the redwood picnic table and webbed lawn chairs as ubiquitous fixtures of their youth. Oh, and an Oldsmobile, too. New York circa 1948. Homemaker stirring double boiler on gas range. San Francisco, 1940. Oldsmobile sedan and pedestrians ascending steep grade, with the Palace of Fine Arts and Golden Gate Bridge in the distance. September 1942. Canfield, Ohio. Mrs. Harry Mercer, a young neighbor and grandchild, husking and removing silk from the corn. The corn will be dried and stored for later use. New York circa 1948. Woman in kitchen with General Electric refrigerator. Yes, this dish should warm up nicely. Circa 1930. No caption. President Hoover with boys and girls at White House. Who can help us fill in the blanks? Our garden party is on Bontecu Road at Lilburn Drive in Stony Point, New York, 1970. New York circa 1948. C. Rose Distributing Company truck. Just and out of the rain, with a backdrop of Peels, Fitzgerald's, and maybe Rose himself. (1952) Stephen on Seaside, Spring Mill State Park. Washington, D.C., 1924. No caption, football team at stadium, is all it says here. Who can help fill in the blanks? San Francisco, 1920. Franklin touring car at Golden Gate Park Conservatory. New York circa 1908. 23rd Street east from 6th Avenue. New York City, December 1947. Hudson Dealers and the new Hudson. A striking design that sold like hotcakes when it was introduced to car-starved post-war America. January 1943. Clinton, Iowa. Residents of Miss Lucille Disher's rooming house for rail workers. Rear brakeman Clarence Averill and James Lynch, engineer on the Pacific Limited, who has 4 sons in the Navy, Marine Corps, Army Air Corps, and Army. New York circa 1948. The new Hudson. From a design standpoint, the venerable carmaker's last hurrah. New York circa 1947. Midtown Dealers Corporation and Hudson Showroom, Broadway at West 62nd Street. October 1942. Hardwick, Vermont. Mrs. Alice White at the Victory Store vegetable counter selling donated farm produce, money from which will go to the War Fund. San Francisco, 1939. General Motors exhibit, Golden Gate International Exposition. Girls sitting on LaSalle Auto. January 1943. Chicago, Illinois. Waiting for trains in the concourse of the Union Station. Jacqueline Bouvier and John F. Kennedy at their wedding, September 12, 1953, Newport, Rhode Island. Circa 1906. New Exchange Hotel, Montgomery, Alabama. San Francisco, 1927. Traffic signals police officer stops pedestrian crossing against a light on Arguello Boulevard. New York circa 1948. Patterson Beer Distributors Peel's Beer Truck. It's delicious, delightful, demand it. Washington Dramatic Club about Thebes. Nominally Egyptian-themed charity benefit staged at the Belasco Theater in April 1909 for an audience including President Taft. San Francisco, 1927. Traffic signals police officer stops pedestrian crossing against the light in front of Hudson sedan at B Garage service station. New York circa 1947. National Peanut Corporation store on Broadway, Mr. Peanut sign and Embassy Newsreel Theater. San Francisco circa 1925. Swimsuit girls camping in dealer window with Willis Knight Auto. New York, 1913. Quality Shop and Hudson Theater. October 1939. One of 36 members of the Ola Self-Help Sawmill Cooperative. Sawmill started with an FSA loan. Gem County, Idaho. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Stunning Natalie Banison A. Charming dress. Photo 1988. British model Carol Needham 1979. Washington, D.C. Cafe on L Street, where the only thing flakier than our delicious biscuits is the peeling paint. Circa 1900. Colonial Hotel, Cleveland, home to the Colonial Arcade. San Francisco, circa 1919. Haynes touring car, accessorized with a dapper California top. June 1942. Shasta Dam, Shasta County, California. Workman on porch of commissary. August 1941. Dude from Quarter Circle, you ranch on a picnic on Lyman Brewster's lease, near Lame Deer, Montana. San Francisco, 1925. California State Automobile Association. Setting sign for Golden Gate Park Conservatory. Detroit, circa 1906. Ice fountain on Washington Boulevard. Yet another perspective on this monument to hard water. This is my colorized version of this Shorpy original. I used a number of sources within the vintage magazine collecting community online to find color images of all of the covers included. All covers are colored accurately with the exception of Super Sports, which I could not find. September 1941. Frankie Hagemeister, treasurer of the Cooperative Association on Scottsbluff Farmsteads, Farm Security Administration Project. He has been here since 1937. August 15, 1936. Sterling Trucks in San Francisco, with a chain drive that looks like something off a giant bicycle. June 3, 1936. J. Herzog Pontiac, 17th Valencia SDS, San Francisco. July 1942. U.S. Naval Academy, Annapolis. Midshipmen resting on the lawn. April 1943. New York, New York. Scene in Harlem area. San Francisco, California, 1920. Milani Ario's speed wagon delivery truck, also known as the Flying Artichoke. Circa 1905. Petoskey, Michigan Lake Street. Rolling out the Welcome Arch. (1942). Effect of gasoline shortage in Washington, D.C. June 1944. New York. School Victory Garden on 1st Avenue between 35th 36th Streets. Cats at Eldon's, March 16, 1952. The latest installment of Minnesota Kodachrome stars two frosty felines. La Salle Model 328 Roadster, Golden Gate Park, San Francisco, 1929. Virginia PI Cadet Band, circa 1920. The Men of Virginia Polytechnic Institute in Blacksburg. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, circa 1909. Congress Street near Market Square, with at least two painless dentists, an optician, hatter. Washington, D.C., circa 1910. Theta Pi Girls. May 1942. Southington, Connecticut. School children staging a patriotic demonstration. Flint Auto in San Francisco, 1924. With the Ghirardelli Square Clock Tower keeping time for whatever conversation is taking place between the front seat and the back. New York, 1951. Street scene, Corn Exchange Bank. Sharing the spotlight with two sanitation department trucks. Larkspur, California, January 7, 1953. A photo of me I didn't know existed until a few days ago. I'm the second cowboy hat from the left at my best friend's 6th birthday party. Washington, D.C., circa 1913. Boy Scouts postal savings. Scouts depositing. San Francisco's Golden Gate Park circa 1939. Woman demonstrating use of luggage compartment lock on Pontiac sedan. Los Angeles, 1948. Actor Lex Barker and his family wife Constance Rhodes Thurlow, son Alexander Critchlow Barker III, and daughter Lynn Thurlow Barker with their dog and cat. Washington, D.C., circa 1925. Protesters is all it says on the caption card for this national photo glass negative showing what seems to be a meeting of the Communist Party Young Communist League. Washington, D.C., circa 1923. Unidentified ramp on field is all it says here. Who can help us categorize this cryptic contraption? Los Angeles, 1968. Actor Leonard Nimoy working on the set of the television show Star Trek. May 1943. New York. A tenement house in Harlem. Note the sign advising of cover. Loren at Folks, January 20th, 1952. The latest episode of Minnesota Kodachrome stars Hubert's young nephew. Los Angeles, 1948. Shower ends Lex's non-acting day that includes lifting weights, punching bag, and many other exercises. Northern California circa 1920. Touring car at Yosemite National Park. May 1942. Southington, Connecticut. Boys collecting paper and metal for scrap drive. Multnomah Falls, Oregon, circa 1918. Kissel Military Highway Scout car. May 1942. Southington, Connecticut. An American town and its way of life. Southington girls, members of the Youth Drum Corps. October 1943. Washington, D.C. Sally D. says, a student at Woodrow Wilson High School, playing a tennis match. San Francisco circa 1920. Nash motor truck on waterfront. September 1942. Gloucester, Massachusetts. A young boy, probably a fisherman of tomorrow, because many of the boys will follow their fathers as fishermen in the New England waters. Circa 1905. Ramsey County Courthouse, St. Paul, Minnesota. Los Angeles, 1948. Lex Barker regularly suns himself by the swimming pool of friend's home to acquire, keep legendary Tarzan tan. Dort Car in San Francisco. An automotive brand that was not long for this world in 1923. San Francisco, 1926. Diana ate at Civic Center. The short-lived Diana, a car for the ladies. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Beautiful Natalie Bannis in a charming dress. Photo 1989. Beautiful Natalie Bannis in a charming dress. Photo 1989. Another Las Vegas Kodachrome taken by my dad in June 1964. Cleveland, Ohio, circa 1900. Public Square, Cuyahoga County Soldiers and Sailors Monument. San Francisco, 1923. Nash sedan at Spreckles Mansion, with Alcatraz in the distance. Washington, D.C., 1929. Chesapeake Potomac Telephone Company lineman. August 1941. Dude from Quarter Circle, you ranch on a picnic on Lyman Brewster's lease, near Lame Deer, Montana. August 1939. Marion County, Oregon, near West Staten. Father and children came from Albany, Oregon, for a season's work in the beans. Washington, D.C., 1937. Baby's bath is all it says here. If you recognize yourself 78 years later, let us know. October 1919. Nash Flyer California Highway Motor Train in San Francisco. Larkspur, California, July 4, 1974. The beginning of the parade is heading this way on Magnolia Avenue. Just passing the crowd at the right gathered in front of the Silver Peso Bar, still a major draw downtown. July 30th, 1943. Washington, D.C. Office of Civilian Defense. Spectators watching the parade to recruit civilian defense volunteers. August 1943. Mill River, Maryland Farm Security Administration housing for Glen L. Martin Aircraft Plant workers. San Francisco circa 1925. California State Automobile Association Emergency Road Service motorcycle. January 1943. Edgell Tomato Cannery, New South Wales, Australia. October 1922. Washington, D.C. Fordson Tractor Exposition at Camp Meigs. A print I bought about 20 years ago showing Massachusetts sports equipment on parade, sometime around 1950. Also, carrots and Mass apples. San Francisco circa 1920. Studebaker touring car and biplane at airfield, with the fur possibly about to fly. A mini trove of Kodachromes of his folks in 1953 he didn't know about. But he did instantly recognize the recreation room and bar his dad had built in the basement of their San Francisco home. Up Sutter Street from Grant Avenue. Aftermath of the April 18, 1906, earthquake and fire that reduced much of San Francisco to rubble. (1907) Dearborn Street, Chicago, with the base of the massive Great Northern Hotel at right. San Francisco, 1922. Ice-packed Buick motor stunt. A demonstration of the heat control carburetor. August 1943. Middle River, a small crossroads in the vicinity of Baltimore, Maryland. Farm Security Administration housing project for Martin aircraft workers. Mrs. Helen Bird, USO Traveler's Aid, giving information to a newcomer in the Glen L. Martin Trailer Village. New York circa 1905. On the beach, Coney Island. Watch out for predators. San Francisco circa 1919. Valley Roadster at Golden Gate Park. In this image that I didn't know existed until a few days ago, I'm aiming my Nizo Super 8 movie camera across the waters of Oregon's Crater Lake. I'm on a trip with my brother who took this Kodachrome slide. May 1923. And no caption, babies in a basket. We sense a baby rebellion brewing, instigated by the tot on the left. Washington, D.C., 1912. District of Columbia parks children at fountains and pools. English actress Margaret Nolan. Stunning photo shoot 1967. San Francisco circa 1919. Maxwell touring car. Transporting its tourists on what looks to be a chilly day. Washington, D.C., 1919. Walter Reed Boys at Schubert Garrick Theater. Circa 1964, somewhere in the USA. Boys about to go swimming. (1964) Collins Avenue, Miami Beach. With the Ocean Spray Hotel representing the Art Deco Old Guard and the curvy Fontainebleau the New. San Francisco, 1908. Boxer Stanley Ketchel at wheel of American underslung auto with manager Britt Willis. Collins Avenue, Miami Beach, 1964. Showing further progress in the application of asphalt and cement to this former palm-studded sandbar. (11:45 a.m. August 11th, 60. Jerry after haircut. F11 150th. 1963. Cab driver and taxi at Saxony Bar Lounge, Boston. Boy in telephone booth, Boston, 1963. Engaged in the archaic activity known as dialing a payphone, as well as demonstrating the esoteric skill of booth wedging. (1965) Polynesia Pavilion Restaurant, New York World's Fair. See you at the fire dance. My sister took with her Kodak Duoflex at the Magic Kingdom on her honeymoon in February 1958. Store clerk, Little Jack Horner Joke Shop, Boston, 1967. Please do not handle the jumping beans. (1964) Miami Beach from Indian Creek. The Fontainebleau Hotel at left. From around 1925 comes this uncaptioned 6x8 glass negative of Milady and her motorcar somewhere in San Francisco. When you find 40-year-old photos of yourself that you never knew existed, several thoughts may pop into your mind. For instance, I dressed like that for a road trip? Well, it was the 70s after all. Street scene, Brockton, Massachusetts, July 1962.